here. I'm making this episode. Again, I just shared my breastfeeding experience, why I don't breastfeed. So now I'm going to go into details about my hospital experience. So my hospital experience, so this little one was born in December 2023. Hey, stop touching mama's hair. You're pulling it. She was born in a hospital down in Sydney. And it was a really horrible experience because I had a C-section that was unplanned, so it was an emergency C-section. I was 42 weeks. I had to be induced, so I went and got induced on the Sunday. She was born on the Monday. So I went into the hospital on the Sunday, had a checkup to make sure, but they didn't need to put the thing in because apparently I was already a couple centimeters dilated. So I went back the next day to be induced if I didn't go into labor the Sunday. So off I went into the hospital, not knowing if or when or if I'm gonna, have it natural or C-section. So I went in. It was an hours long wait to get in. Got induced in the morning around 9:30, and then put onto the drip. So the drip went in. I didn't feel anything after a while, but then I asked for the gas after I started to feel some sort of mild contractions. Not too bad, but mild. So the nurses were wanting to monitor while I was on the drip. They gave me some gas because I wanted to start natural method. Like, I was going to go without, but it was so painful for me. Like, it obviously first experience, and my head was overworking and probably making the pain feel even worse. So then anyways, the drip went in. I ended up dilating to about 3 or 4 centimeters, but they said that wasn't enough to be able to go into surgery. Enough because Bub's heart rate was going up and down when I was on it. But I was also on morphine after the contractions became closer together and more frequent, and they got too frequent. Like, they weren't supposed to be that way. They were supposed to be like, that code 5-5 or something. Well, it didn't go like that for me. I ended up having really bad contractions, needed morphine. I was like, dopey as. After about 2 hours after having the morphine and riding through the pain, they ended up coming in and saying, well, you haven't dilated enough. We're going to have to take you to do an emergency C-section because Bub's heart rate's going up and down. We don't think it's safe to continue this drip. So I was like, okay, well, I want the best possible way to give birth to my baby. So I went to the surgery, rushed in, but the doctors said that they were going to put the spinal thing into your back, the epidural, or I would get knocked out if that didn't work. So they put the epidural, told me how to do it. I sat back and I sat and, let it go and waited for them to put the drip in. After they did that, I felt this pinch, and they said, sorry, I don't think we got it in right. So they took it out and told me to take the deep breath and do it all again. So we did. After that happened, we ended up, they ended up saying, well, if I can't get it in this third time, we're going to have to take the other measure. So I was praying that I was able to be awake to be able to see the birth of my baby. And mind you, I didn't have any support around when I went into hospital, so I was all alone on my own. So it was really hard on me. So I wanted to be able to at least see my baby. So anyways, proceeding, they did the needle again, but this time the needle didn't work, and they said, okay, Leash, we're now going to have to put the other measure in place, which is to knock you out, put you under anesthesia. And I was like, oh no, here we go. I'm not going to be able to experience this birth. But my lovely midwife did offer me to take some photos. So I did get some photos, so I'll take that as a positive. But when I went into surgery, I was knocked out. After I woke up, the first thing I said, and I touched my belly because obviously it was really big, I ended up seen, you know, some nurses there standing, and they said, oh, you're in recovery. And I was like, oh, where's my baby? And they said, she's a beautiful baby. She's up in the ward, ward, and she's okay. And I was like, brilliant. That is so good to hear. So after that, after about an hour in recovery, they took me up to go and see her. She was up there. I ended up trying to give her my breast. She attached onto the breast, and then I started breastfeeding from there. But going back on to how my hospital experience was leading up to it, the needle didn't get put in correctly when I got my drip put in, so they had to put it in 3 times. I bled everywhere with the second needle because it was an untrained midwife. They treated me with a lack of respect, and like, you know, they doubted me with everything I did, and that's one thing I don't like, is being doubted. So, and because of that, I was traumatized. I went back home upset because I didn't feel like I had that bonding time with my daughter. I didn't get to see her when, you know, when she came, when I gave birth to her. It was really sad. So that's my birth story. It was really hard.